months ago, the Australian Medical Association, our most powerful doctors group, called for same-sex marriage. It said this was a health issue. It claimed gays were suffering mental and health problems while we delayed having gay marriage. And it claimed there was, and I'm quoting, no putative, peer-reviewed evidence to suggest that children raised in same-sex parented families suffer poorer health or psychosocial outcomes as a direct result of the sexual orientation of the parents and carers. The very careful wording already is a little bit of a warning sign there. Well, those claims have infuriated one group of doctors, including Dr. Chris Middleton, a former president of the Tasmanian AMA. He has since renounced his life membership and with colleagues has issued a 15-page report accusing the AMA of suppressing the truth. Chris Middleton joins me now. Chris, thanks for your time. Why have you resigned your life membership?
To be honest, Andrew, I was never a life member. I was a Tasmanian president, a member of Federal Council and a fellow of the AMA, but I'm not quite old enough to be a life member just yet. The reason that I resigned was because this position statement was not discussed with the membership at all. It simply came out of left field. There was a meeting of Federal Council in March this year at which the decision was taken to release the position statement without any reference to the membership at all. Now, it's true that Federal Council does have the right to make policy if it so wishes. However, this is such a contentious issue, indeed the most contentious political issue of the day at present, and one would think if you were going to release a statement such as this, that you would make sure that the members were fully engaged and informed about it beforehand.
I also don't understand why the AMA needs to take a collective position if it doesn't represent the collective position in the first place. What is this? So it hasn't. The AMA never asked the members for their opinion before declaring it supported gay marriage. Let's go now to the claims that the AMA made in support of that position. First of all, that one that I just read out, there is no putative, peer-reviewed evidence to suggest that children raised in same-sex parented families suffer poorer health or psychosocial outcomes as a direct result of sexual orientation of their parents. Is that actually true?
No, Andrew, that's actually quite false and misleading. There are peer-reviewed papers which show poorer outcomes, and the AMA was well aware of their existence, and we show that in our paper. We have documentary evidence. We discussed this with an official at the AMA who had the carriage of the production of the policy statement, who admitted knowing full well and having quite a lot of knowledge about the papers that the position statement later denied the evidence of. In our view, that is quite outrageous. The committee had the option, of course, to critique the quality of the evidence, but certainly not to deny it.
Well, that's really quite extraordinary, particularly for a medical group, I would have thought. What do the surveys that the AMA accidentally or deliberately overlooked and excluded, what do they actually show?
Well, what they show is that in a preponderance of fairly large representative and random studies looking at this question, that the outcomes for children raised in same-sex parented situations are worse than you would expect for biological parents. So they do worse on both on education and emotional outcome.
Why would that be?
Well, it's everything to do with the biological bond between parents and their children. What we know from all other forms of disrupted parenting, be it, when I say that I mean where children are separated from their biological parents, either by single parenting or divorce or death or whatever, that it's this disruption of the biological bond between the child and both of its biological parents, both its mum and its dad, that seems to cause the disadvantage. So it doesn't really matter what family form you have, and it's simply that the child does not have the support of both its mum and its dad.
Okay, so they ignored that evidence that suggested there is a problem here, not obviously with all families by any means, but there is a statistical correlation here. The AMA then also claimed that there is research highlighting that physical, psychosocial, psychological and educational outcomes for children with same-sex parents are about at the same. They're on par with, and in some aspects, better than those for children raised in heterosexual parented families. Now, is that research that they relied on, is that reliable?
So the research that's relied on comes from two studies. There's the HS study and the Australian Family Institute study. And certainly the HS study has serious sampling problems, by which I mean that the same-sex families that were recruited to that study were not a random sample. They were recruited through gay networks. So basically, what would happen is that people would be asked or would be told that there was a study which was being planned, and would people like to be in it. So it's hardly a random sample. And so what happens then, of course, is you can't generalise the results. In that particular study, the families were of higher socioeconomic group and higher educational achievement than you would expect, and so therefore that significantly skews the outcome. These studies are not of good quality, and it is very surprising that the AMA hung its hat on those studies where it denied the existence of the other studies which did not suit its narrative.
Chris, look, maybe I'm just a little naive guy. You're so young, so naive. But this strikes me as absolutely scandalous. Here's the AMA declaring a position without actually asking its members permission first. It then ignores studies, reputable studies, peer-reviewed studies suggesting that children in same-sex parented families tend to struggle. It then overstates studies on dodgy studies that claim that, well, listen, they're actually in some respects doing better, and we're supposed to trust the AMA? I mean, this is a scandal.
So, Andrew, that's why it is so incredibly disappointing, both to myself and to many other doctors. We've had many doctors contact us, very distraught about this. As you know, we have a petition up online for doctors to sign, asking the AMA to retract their position statement. It's important that you understand that we did, in fact, present our critique to the AMA about 10 days ago, and we pointed out that that their position statement was of poor quality, and that we believe that it was false and misleading and it should be retracted. However, the AMA responded that it was not going to do that, and so here we are tonight. Since we launched the critique about midday on Saturday, we've had about 200 doctors sign the petition so far, including 8 professors, so I'm informed.
My goodness me, I find this amazing, but it's just symptomatic of the quality of debate, so to speak, that we've had on this issue. For anyone that wants to see your petition, there's a link in my blog to an article about what's happened to the issues that you've raised. So go there and you'll find the 15-page survey or report that Chris and others have produced. Chris Middleton, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Andrew.